Hello Kathleen, it's nice to have you here today. So I'm going to start off with, why is it important for teachers to learn about EF?
We have a real fear in America that we're raising a lot of kids that are enabled and they wait for everybody to do everything for them. And if we're going to truly raise a nation of kids who are empowered and responsible and accountable for themselves, then teaching about executive function is going to be essential.
How do you think the teachers can implement that into their classrooms?
I think it has to be something that, first of all, the teachers believe in, being really important, that they want to see happen. And then they have to live executive function thinking every day, so that they teach about metacognition and have kids self-reflect on when they're being metacognitive and what is working for them and what is not working for them. So it's not something you can talk about for once a week for a little bit and then not live every day in your classroom.
So what should teachers be looking for in a student when they are using the EF skills?
I think the biggest thing I've noticed in working with students that have challenges, whether they're emotional or academic, is that they tend to blame everybody else for their problems. So it's not my fault if I hadn't had this happen, or they make excuses, or they become really passive learners and they wait for other people to do the work for them. And so what I'm looking for in a student is the student that's starting to take charge themselves and being real about where they're messing up and start to own it, and then start to look at what they can do to make a difference. And that will become kind of addictive. It's like, ooh, I tried that and it worked. And you'll see that in the kids, because they'll start to be excited because they're feeling better about themselves. They're seeing the academic and the emotional results.
So it sounds like to me what you're saying is that they're changing their mindset, they're kind of growing. What is mindset to you?
Mindsets, to me, is the first step in all of this. Because if you come to a situation with a fixed mindset, where you say school is stupid, or I'm stupid, or I hate learning, or math is yucky, it's really hard to learn. So mindsets, the beauty of mindsets is we have control. We can change our mindsets, which changes the chemistry in our brain. So if we continue to have a fixed mindset, it's going to be hard to accomplish anything. When we choose to have a growth mindset, our brains start to shift, and all of a sudden the EF skills can step in and help us get there.
So how can teachers spot who has a closed mindset or an open mindset?
It's generally pretty easy. It's the what I say to teachers I work with is, you can kind of tell a fixed mindset, because if a kid says you're stupid, this class is stupid, here's a fixed mindset. Sleeping, rolling your eyes, sighing. Usually that's a front for kids that are afraid and they don't know what to do.
So you think that the kids that are in the classrooms that are displaying those types of emotions or types of actions, you think that they have a reason behind it, or do you think it's just because they are acting out?
No, I think there's probably many reasons, and many deep reasons, and from whatever's gone on emotionally in their lives at home.
Do you think that EF can help change that?
I think it's the key.
You think it's the key?
It's the mission I'm on, because having had struggles in my own personal life as an adolescent, and having spent my career working with adolescents who've had difficult situations, and seeing the results when I've taught kids about this, not only it's changed me, but it's changed the kids I've worked with, because now they've got tools. I always tell my students, I can give you the tools, but if you don't use them, they won't work.
How can you motivate them? How can you spark that interest, making them become a better person, making them feel better, and using the EF that can help the students improve, help them want this?
Well, I believe that mindsets plus skill sets equal results. And so I do have to differentiate for my kids. As a teacher, I'm going to really look at you and look at you deep inside. And I'm going to say, I know my goal is to get you through the science class, because that's my job. But I have to understand, is it her mindset that's holding her back? If so, I'm going to really let her know that I think how brilliant she is and capable, but this is stopping her For other kids, they have really, I can do anything. They have this positive mindset, but they're not using any strategies. So they have a good attitude, but they're not applying the skill sets that they need. So for those kids, I'm going to help them develop whichever skill set I see that they're missing. And I try to be really real with kids. Mm-hmm. You know, this is where I see your strengths, and this is where I feel like you need to grow, but I can't make you grow. I can help you see.
How can you get other teachers to be on the same wavelength as you? Like, how can teachers improve themselves to not have a fixed mindset on a student and
about kids?
Yeah.
I really think it's hearing kids' stories is really powerful, because sometimes we get fixed mindsets about those kids.
Yeah, and they give up.
And we give up. And it's hard when you have 30 kids and many of them are challenging to not want to give up. But what I share with teachers is that all of us come in life with our challenges and our struggles, including us as teachers. And so we have to look at the kids that trigger us the most and understand how they are there to help us grow. Mm-hmm. So for me, it's not the kids that did everything I said that made me a good teacher. It's the kids that challenge me, that help me to look at myself and say, what can I do to reach this kid? Because if I can find out what's going to reach them, you know, their lives are better, my life is better. It's a win-win.
Very inspiring. I like that. So how does all of this work with the teachers who want to help their students grow culturally, emotionally, and academically?
Mindsets and skill sets, EF skill sets, impact every aspect of our life. So culturally, you can look at yourself and say, do I have a fixed mindset about my culture? Do I have a fixed mindset about my culture? Do I have a fixed mindset about other cultures? As a teacher, I can do the same thing. Maybe I have, unbeknownst to myself, a fixed mindset about kids from other cultures or other backgrounds, right? So we have to look at ourselves and see how culture, our mindsets about culture impact ourselves as students, but also as educators.
Yeah.
And emotionally, it's really important to see, sometimes we think about ourselves, if we're emotional people that lose control, and we think, I'm always like that. I'm always going to be depressed, or I'm always going to be reactionary. But if we realize that we can choose to change our mindset, mm-hmm. and then we can build skill sets to help us control our emotions, you know, not responding immediately, then we can develop our emotional muscle, so to speak. And then academically, I think it's maybe the most obvious to us that, you know, if we have fixed mindsets, we're probably not even going to get off the starting gate for doing the work. But if we have growth mindsets, again, the chemistry in our brain starts to change, and all of a sudden and then we apply the executive function, then it's not nearly as challenging. So mindsets plus skill sets equals results.
Thank you very much, Kathleen.
Nice being here with you, Tori.